Good morning. Thursday feels like Friday. By the way, the chiropractor says hi. Went and had my head screwed on straight. That's why we're a little bit later than normal today. So we're continuing with Isaiah, and I'm really glad for the turnout. The evening one is, a few people that were at the first one weren't at the second one, but there seems to be an uptick in the morning one. So anyway, don't be shy. I mean, Isaiah's pretty cool. It's the gospel, the Old Testament. And I'm grateful. Good morning. That, somebody requested it. Okay. So, I mean, I really have to be on my toes to teach this because I've never taught it before. And it's kind of a tough book, but that's good. That's good. All right. Speaking of which, Isaiah 55:2. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your earnings for that which does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me and eat what is good. Wrong day. This should be out there for Black Friday. Okay. Um, Somebody recently said America's poor live better than half the world's middle class. Having been to the Philippines this summer, I can kind of agree with that. Um, which is kind of sad in a way. I mean, and the rest of us live better than most royals live, even 100 years ago. So, are you any better off? Maybe. Okay, so you get better indoor plumbing and running water. That's great. I'm happy for us all. We're sanitary and we're probably the potential to be a lot more healthy. However, when stuff becomes the be all end all, okay, that is where we start getting into trouble because it becomes an idol. All right, it becomes an idol. And let me tell you, that's not cool because it gets in the way of God. Oh, and by the way, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never have enough. All right. All right. Mark 12:44. The widow out of her poverty has put in everything she had, all she had to live on. One of my favorite gospel stories. Everybody else was giving a percentage, and apparently this lady, she put it all on the line. She was betting on God for the win. And how many of us don't do that? I mean, I'm not saying empty your checkbook, okay? Not that dumb. But when we give generously, we receive generously. Doesn't matter if it's time or talent, okay? When we give of ourselves and when we give of our resources and we give without begrudging the gift, we're blessed. All right. If you hear fussing in the background, the boys are having a wrestling match. Teenagers. What can I say? The morning workout. Okay. Mr. Tebow, James 1:2-4. Consider it all joy, my brothers and sisters, that when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. It always says, trials build character, and my response is, thank you, I'm enough of a character already. Um, I think back on like learning techniques for stuff. You go through that gawky, I'm just ready to throw this away or walk away and never do it again because it's not coming. I'm not getting it. It's too frustrating. I'm too dumb, or whatever reason you use for walking away from acquiring a new skill. Okay. Um, or even like experiencing something new. No, I don't want to do that. That's too much effort, too much time. Okay. So, but what happens? You get past that, and all of a sudden, people are asking you, how'd you do that? Can you show me? Or it becomes fun. That's that endurance thing. Okay. The most positive example of this I could say is when I learned how to horseback ride. Okay. When you're a beginner, somebody you're put on a horse, what the stable I learned at, which is probably not even in business anymore. Um, I'm sure all the horses died. Uh, they put a lead line and somebody else leads you around, so you get used to being on the horse. Then when they pretty sure you're not going to fall off, you're put in this. It's a ring, but it's like a circular chute. There's high walls on the left, and on the right is something about waist high, so that if you get into trouble, the riding master can get to you, and you just go in a circle until you learn. And the best day ever horseback riding was when they unlatched the gate of that chute ring and put me out in the ring with the big kids. Okay. And it grew from there. It went from being kind of shaming, the baby ring, to wow, this is awesome. Okay. So not everything is pleasant that works in our favor. Okay. I get that. And some things are downright nasty. But if we trust God to take care of us, um, it's going to work out. Okay. I keep staring up at this. I've got a couple of rugby signs, and there's an obvious artistic misfit on this one, where depending on how you look at it, it's not possible for, if the one leg and his upper body is doing that, they've drawn his leg on backwards. It's very bizarre, and it's kind of distracting. Sorry. Um, as you live a mission possible life, don't be surprised when it gets tough, but don't let the resistance keep you from maintaining your momentum, placing one foot forward after another. It doesn't get hard without a purpose. Human beings were created with a fight or flight response. This is an innate physiological reaction that sets in motion when we're threatened or under attack. So we're wired to handle stress. Biologically speaking, our body's stress response was designed to help us maintain our well-being and meet the demands of survival. Research indicates that stress can affect our well-being in a positive way if we have the right perspective. As Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, in some way, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. When you say yes to what God is pricking your hearts about, you can expect to sacrifice. Can you expect to sacrifice? Let me try again. When you say yes to what God is pricking your heart about, can you expect to sacrifice and experience trials? More than likely, yes. You will also experience joy, peace, fulfillment, and meaning beyond expectation. Living the purpose God has for you means that the hard stuff has value. And in this case, difficult times will produce in you maturity, perseverance, and endurance. How have trials affected the endurance of your faith? Well, it's matured it. I'll give it that. All right. But, did I enjoy it? That one's a little more difficult. And define enjoy. All right. Like Tuesdays when I meet with Dave, my personal trainer, I'm a little apprehensive because he really wipes the floor with me. And about halfway through, sometimes like this past Tuesday, I'm thinking, am I going to make it? Am I going to be? If I do this, because he does circuits with me, if I can just do this 4 times, okay, I'll be okay. And then I actually did 5 rounds, and how I looked at it was, this is going to hurt, but I have to look at it as a bonus round. Okay. All right, let's pray. Loving God, you provide for your people with an overflowing abundance. In sending your Son, you have given all you have to give. Forgive me for withholding myself from you and for being miserly with my resources. Open my heart and unclench my fingers. Teach me to value what truly matters and to share with those around me. I remember when, one very wise person said, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Some of this stuff makes us unique. In a good. All righty, everybody have a good day, and we'll see you on Friday.